I started watching One Piece a while ago, and I'm currently watching an arc that, how can I put it without spoiling, the Straw Hats go underwater. And while watching it, I noticed there was something that reminded me of something else. There was a character named Otohime, and when I went to do some research about it, I realized that there is some loose inspiration on the Urashimataro tale, the same folktale that seems to inspire the second part of the DLC for Pokémon Scarlet and Pokémon Violet. And I think I found something interesting. So hey, I'm not so a strainer, and I think I understand a little bit more of the DLC now. Let's get into it. We've talked about this before, but just to situate ourselves here, the Urashimataro folktale is a tale of a fisherman that saves a small turtle, either from children or from his own fishing rod, and then gets invited into the Dragon Palace. As you can see, there's more than one version of this story, but they eventually end the same way. The fisherman wants to leave, but is given a box that they say he should never open. That's because time doesn't flow the same way inside the Dragon Palace, and everyone in the world he knew, everyone is long gone. And when he opens that box, all of his old age will come back, he'll become an old man and eventually die. But this whole thing started with the character named Otohime, so let me explain that. Otohime is the name of the princess of the Dragon Palace. In many instances, that princess is the safe turtle itself, in others she's simply the one that extends the invitation to the fisherman. But one thing is constant, from the Dragon Palace you actually have a look at the 4 different seasons, just like in the terrarium you have access to 4 different areas with 4 different biomes. This also seems to tell us something that is a bit obvious. The middle part, where all the biomes meet, is likely a very important place. And there's also someone tasked with showing us around, and that is Lacey. Again, in some instances the one that shows us around is Otohime, the princess, but not always. Lacey isn't the one that invites us though, that is Cyrano, so the story is of course taking a few liberties here. At first, I believed Cyrano was inviting us because he heard about what we did in Area Zero, and I also thought it was evil because, well, I like to assume the worst of people. But now, while I might still be right about the evil part, I think, at least I believe, there's a chance that the reason for the invitation was something completely different. We know that we have to finish not only the main game of Pokémon Scarlet and Violet, but also the first part of the DLC, the Teal Mask, before being able to begin the Indigo Disc storyline. This means that our invitation will come after both those stories conclude. And there's only one thing that connects them to the Blueberry Academy. Well, actually there's 2. Carmen and Kieran. They both are from Kitakami and will be part of the Loyal 3 plus Ogre Pond storyline, but they also study in the Blueberry Academy, so they are the perfect people to let Cyrano know about our adventures. So we'll have to save a turtle, at least according to the Urashimataro folktale, in order to enter the Dragon Palace, which in this case I believe is the Blueberry Academy, and we do have a baby turtle revealed to us, the unnamed baby Terrapagos. But what if in this case we don't actually have to save the turtle, but maybe the person that has the turtle, or just the person themselves? The story of the Loyal 3 plus Ogre Pond is inspired on the tale of Momotaro, which we already discussed multiple times. Boy born from a peach saves his village from ogres with the help of a pheasant, a monkey and a dog. But one interesting fact about this story is that it comes from another story, one that is not as well known. In this story, Kibitsuhiko no Mikoto, a prince, after a fierce battle vanquishes Ura, which was supposedly a rampaging ogre. But after Ura shows up in a dream, he realizes that Ura wasn't evil at all. In fact, there's a brother and a sister that became friends with the ogre after the boy was saved by him, with the sister eventually becoming his wife. So basically, the ogre was simply misunderstood. I think we might see something similar in Kitakami. Not in the sense that Carmen will be Ogre Pond's wife, not that. I believe that maybe Kieran was saved by Ogre Pond and became its friend, and Carmen maybe followed Kieran and eventually became its friend as well. And that might be the reason we see Kieran using its festival mask when we see the trailer. By looking at this image, while you can clearly tell that those are Fezandipiti, Okidogi and Monkey Dory, Ogre Pond looks different. It looks more beastly, a bit more monster-like. So I believe there might be 3 reasons for this. Ogre Pond might either not be the only ogre, there might be another one hidden, or Ogre Pond might have a more fearsome form with the mask. But the third one, and going with the misunderstood theory, they simply depicted it like that in order to make it seem more evil than it actually is. Either way, I believe that Kieran will somehow be put in danger in the middle of this whole thing, and us, taking the role of Momotaro with the help of the Loyal 3, will be the ones saving him. And that will basically be the whole thing about the first part of the DLC. And then, Kieran, taking the role of the turtle, will let the Dragon Palace, the Blueberry Academy, know about what we did. In the Blueberry Academy, we can assume that Cyrano is the Dragon God, Ryujin, because he is the one that founded it. That is his Dragon Palace. Lacey also welcomes us, so she might be part of the welcoming party from the tale. When Urashima arrives in the Dragon Palace, he is met by a red bream, a flounder, a soul, and a cuttlefish. There are 4, just like the 4 characters we see in the key art, which includes Lacey, meaning that they are important and will likely be some kind of guides when it comes to the different aspects of the Blueberry Academy. This leaves one thing missing from the tale, and that is a Tamatebako. The Tamatebako is the box that contains Urashima's old age, or at least the whole time he spent there, and it loosely translates to jewel box or treasure box. And when we think about those two things, jewels and treasure, in the context of Scarlet and Violet, we kind of think about Terrapagos and the baby turtle. So, we know that the baby turtle can turn itself into a jewel, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's what's inside the box that we are given after we're done with the Blueberry Academy. Again, just like all the folktales I mentioned, there are many versions. For example, there's a version with a 3-tiered Tamatebako, which has a mirror for Urashima to look at himself, a crane's feather that can transform Urashima into a crane and make the princess appear before him as a turtle, and a part with his age. But the latter is the only one that appears in all of them. So, I don't think the Terrapagos or the baby turtle contain old age, but I think, like I mentioned before, they contain all time and a lot more than just that. I've talked about the Akashic Records before, something that supposedly contains every thought, dream, wish, and a lot more that ever happened and ever will happen. So, it's something that transcends the concept of time, and it is more like a different realm, a different world, like their dream world, for example. And I think that's what the box will contain in this version of the story. The gift that we will receive when we eventually leave the Blueberry Academy in order to once again go down Area Zero will likely be the baby turtle. And that's how we'll be able to find our way through that mysterious place and what will lead us to the hidden treasure of Area Zero, because it contains all the knowledge from all the people that at some point in time adventured themselves down in the great crater of Paldea. And that is all I have for you today. It feels like the more I research, the more I see something that I didn't see before and that now either translates into a new theory or just adds to a previous one. But what about you? What character do you believe will be important in the DLC? Let me know in the comments down below. And also, before I go, let me thank my Twitch viewer Bag of Bum Fluff 420 for claiming the shoutout for this video. Thank you so much for all of your support. And now, like the video if you like it, dislike if you don't, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more Pokemon content, and also ring the bell so you know when the next video is out. You can follow me on social media and Twitch, stream there Wednesday to Sunday, not Saturday, or join our Discord. All the links are in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all on the next one.